As our list illustrates, the beast with 7 heads and 10 horns represents the carnal nature, which in turn manifests the carnal mind or mindset on the flesh. Being one entity, it is a corporate entity made up of many, rising from the sea of humanity. The carnal nature is symbolized by the leopard, bear, and lion-like features of the beast, while the 7 heads represent the characteristics of the carnal mind, described in Proverbs 6:16 through 19, as the 6 things the Lord hates, the 7 which are an abomination to him. The 6 things God hates begins with a proud look, identifying the element which forms carnality in our lives. As reality attests, the haughty spirit always brings a fall and destruction. The dragon in Revelation 12:3 and 13:2 denotes this pride or haughty spirit. The 10 horns are simply an extension of the heads, being one with them. 7 denotes fullness, including the increase of what it is attached to until this fullness is reached. What follows fullness? In this instance, it is the 10 horns. Consider the following from Bullinger about the spiritual meaning of 10. It has been already pointed out that 10 is one of the perfect numbers and signifies the perfection of divine order, commencing, as it does, an altogether new series of numbers. The first decade is the representative of the whole numeral system and originates the system of calculation called decimals, because the whole system of numeration consists of so many tens, of which the first is a type of the whole. Completeness of order, marking the entire round of anything, is, therefore, the ever-present signification of the number 10. It implies that nothing is wanting, that the number and order are perfect, that the whole cycle is complete. In biblical mathematics, Ed Vallis states, as the basis of the decimal system, 10 has been a significant number in all historical ages. This is a number of testimony. Considered as twice 5, 10 stands for responsibility, intensified, signifying the measure of responsibility and its judgment or reward. This is a number used under the law. Man was responsible under the law to keep the commandments and bear a testimony for God. The 7 heads denote the increase of carnality until it reaches fullness, while the 10 horns denote what follows after. As an example, consider a glass that holds 6 cups of water. When the 6 cups are poured in and the glass is full, we've reached a 7. If we add more water, we now have an overflow spilling from the glass. 7 heads, 10 horns, fullness, and what follows after. Please consider. Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy, murders, drunkenness, revelries, and the like, of which I tell you beforehand, just as I also told you in time past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. Do you see it? When Paul enumerated the works of the flesh, he listed 17 specific things. Does this correlate with our 7 heads and 10 horns? I believe it does. Paul then follows with, and the like. This makes 18, which is 3 sixes, which points to the mark of the beast. Coincidence? I don't think so. And could we not say that the things which Paul listed in these passages is yet another description of the attributes of the carnal mind? Of course, because the mind of the flesh can only produce the works of the flesh. Overflow. Another way of saying this is a flood. And the serpent poured water like a river out of his mouth after the woman, so that he might cause her to be swept away with the flood. In regard to a flood, Jesus said this, For the coming of the Son of Man will be just like the days of Noah. For as in those days before the flood they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day that Noah entered the ark, and they did not understand until the flood came and took them all away, so will the coming of the Son of Man be. When we pair Revelation 12:15 with Matthew 24:39, we explain what is meant by a flood. Coming from the serpent, this indicates deception, as well as a subtle but increasing overflow of pride, of the love of the self, even within the realm of our religious fervor. But realize this, that in the last days difficult times will come, for men will be lovers of self, holding to a form of godliness, although they have denied its power. Avoid such men as these. Perhaps the greatest deception in our time is seen in the fact that while much of Christendom believes in a rapture and an escape from great tribulation, the increase of the self has continued unabated, right under our noses, so much so that the gospel of Jesus Christ has been exchanged for myths. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, because they have itching ears, they will heap up for themselves teachers, and they will turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to fables.